many parts, but apprehend myself to be clearly one and entire. The mind has a kind of seamlessness. The mind hangs together as a single thing in a way that no physical structure does. One way to think of that is, we had that example earlier of trying to imagine someone who can read two books simultaneously. Someone who's not, it's not that they're switching from one to the other very fast. They are genuinely reading two books simultaneously. Now, I think it's a natural reaction to that to say, if someone was doing that, I mean, the problem you have with imagining that is, it's not that your eyes couldn't do it. You can perfectly imagine two eyes that could focus on different things. That makes sense. There's no problem with that. The idea is more that the mind can only attend to one thing at a time. If you had something that was really managing to give its full attention simultaneously to two books, that could only be because there were two minds. The unity of the mind seems to demand that you can attend to only one thing at a time. You don't have any such problem with the brain. Your brain could obviously be responding to many different things at any one time. In a way, that's really what was so hard about this guy. You remember the brain bisection case? That in the brain bisection case, you've got someone who's simultaneously responding to two quite different stimuli. Well, what you can't do is imagine what that's like. Imagining another mind just requires that you think of that mind as having that kind of unity. When you get something that's not a unity like that, then it's not a single mind. That's what's so baffling and puzzling about this brain bisection case. It doesn't have the unity that you need for imaginative understanding. You can't put yourself into this guy's shoes because his mind doesn't have the right kind of unity. And the thing is, this guy is functionally integrated. This guy is a successful human being, performs perfectly well. But the unity that he has can't be explained in biological terms. It's not that there's some kind of biological unity is missing. It's a kind of psychological unity that's missing that we take for granted in ordinary talk about the mind. So I think you can see that argument of Nagel's as a way of spelling out Descartes' argument about indivisibility. That's Descartes' second argument. Plain as day? Okay. Well, let's go on to the most famous of his arguments. This is the one I want to spend most time on. We all know this thing, I think, therefore I exist. So let's look at that. He says, that proposition, I am, I exist, that's necessarily true whenever it's put forward by me or conceived by the mind. I exist. If I just say I exist, that must be right. If any of you say I exist, you can't be wrong about that. And then the point is, the certainty with which you know of your own existence is greater than the certainty you could have about the existence of anything physical. Descartes really puts this very dramatically. What now shall I say I am, when I am supposing that there is some supremely powerful and, if it is permissible to say, malicious deceiver who is deliberately trying to trick me in every way he can? You see what he's thinking there? If there is some supremely powerful deceiver, you had better be careful how you speak about them. So if you're going to say malicious, you better say, if I may say so, malicious deceiver who is deliberately trying to trick me in every way he can. So if God has taken it into his head to make fun of you and is saying, okay, now you think you're going to Berkeley. Now you think you're in a lecture room. Now you think you're doing philosophy. That's what's going on, right? Now you think you have a whole bunch of people around you. Well, that really makes sense. Maybe you're still in high school. Maybe it's just a dream, right? Maybe you're going to wake up in a minute and there's your high school teacher saying, "What is the capital of India?" Yeah. But even so, you still know of your own existence. You couldn't say in that situation definitely that you have any physical attribute. Maybe the body you have, maybe that's just a part of the dream too, the body you think you have. So if you say, "Can I now assert that I possess even the most insignificant of attributes, which I have now said belong to the nature of body?" Well, no, of course not. I mean, if it's all a dream, then which body you have might be part of the dream. Yeah. I think that the whole time. Maybe I'm an Olympic athlete, and this is all just a terrible dream. But there you go. That could be. So if it's all a dream, you don't know about the existence of any physical attribute. But you do know of your own existence. So what is it that you know of with such certainty? There's something about you that, how should I say, you never lose track of. Is always inseparably there with you, that you know about the whole time. So what is that? And Descartes says, "At last I have discovered it. It's not anything physical. It's thought. This alone is inseparable from me." So the self can't be physical. Its nature is thought. And that is not something physical. That's the argument. It's really an interesting argument, this. In a way to think about the puzzle it raises is, I was talking in the last few lectures about imaginative understanding of other people and physical knowledge of them. So you can know about someone's physical attributes and you can project yourself imaginatively into their point of view. And that seems really important for everyday life. But everything you care about other people is only there when you only know about it by understanding them imaginatively. But with imaginative understanding, there seem to be two parts to it. There's the physical body of whose mind you form an imaginative understanding. There's the existence of the person that you're going to imaginatively understand. And it seems like a good question. Are the conditions for the existence of that person that I'm understanding imaginatively, are the conditions for the existence of that person made known to me through the imaginative exercise? And usually what you'd think is no. There are two parts to this. One is identifying a physical person. I take some particular person and I say, identified as a biological unit, and I say, of that person, I'm now going to try and get an imaginative understanding. That's what we usually do with each other, right? We actually don't think of each other as pure spirit. We think of each other as biological humans. And it's of a biological human that you try to get an imaginative understanding. But what Descartes is saying here is, when I just reflect on my own mind, I know there of my own existence. I know there of the thing that I am. I don't need to think of myself as a biological human in order to know about my own existence. What he's doing is he's moving from, he's got a particular conscious thought. He says, okay, maybe this is all a dream, but look, across his mind comes a thought. And he says, lo, a thought. Right? So a thought drifts across his mind. He says, lo, a thought. That's got to be there. And then he moves from that to, I am thinking. And then he moves from I am thinking, well, if I am thinking, then somebody must be doing the thinking. I must exist. So you get a particular conscious thinking. You move from that to I am thinking. You move from that to I exist. So you know of your own existence. You know which thing you are. You know about yourself without knowing anything about your biology, without knowing anything about yourself as a human being. Right? That's how the argument goes. And you see why he says that. Yeah? So that is really dramatic, if it's true. It means that yourself just can't be the physical organism. When you say I, you don't mean the physical organism. If this line of thought works, that takes you through knowledge of your own existence, just from knowledge of your own thinking. So if you can know about your own existence, just on the basis of knowing about your thoughts, of looking inside your mind tells you that you are there, and you get knowledge of your own existence like that, then you can't be anything other than the thinking. Now, that's really puzzling. Is it true that when you look inside your mind, you see the self, the essential you? Hume said, this is not how it works for me. Hume said, when I look inside myself, do it right now. Do this as an exercise. Look inside your mind. What is there? Well, what do you get? I'm trying to remember what the next bit of the argument is. I can see all these hopeful, engaged faces alight with curiosity and the quest for knowledge. I see the computer, I see all that stuff, right? So I have all these particular things going through my mind. That's what I get when I look inside my head. Hume said, for my part, when I enter most intimately into what I call myself, when I look inside my stream of consciousness, I always stumble on some particular perception or other. Heat or cold, light or shade, love or hatred, pain or pleasure. What you don't get when you look inside your mind is the self. I never catch myself at any time without a perception, without some particular thinking or some particular seeing or hearing of something. And I never observe anything but the perception. And it's not as if when you look inside your mind, there's some person there that is kind of always around. Yeah, some people do have delusions that they're always being followed by someone. There is always this guy around coming after them. That could be that when you look inside your mind, you always see some particular person there. That doesn't happen. That's not what you get. You just get all these particular thoughts and feelings. And if there was a self that you looked at, that you saw when you look inside your own mind, it would have to be the same throughout your entire life. It would have to be something like tinnitus. Every time you look inside your mind and say, well, what's going on in my mind right now? You would find the self there, that continuous note, all the way through your life. And you could think, yes, that's me there, that's me again. But even if that happened, even if there was that note, that wouldn't be you. You are the one that is doing the observing.